So many of us want our lives to change. We want more peace, more love, more purpose. But often, we keep waiting for life itself to move first, for the right person, the right moment, the right opportunity to appear. And yet, nothing truly changes until we do. Hi, my friend. I'm Wendy, and this is the Heal and Grow podcast. A gentle space to slow down, to listen inward, and to learn how to love yourself again, a little more each day. This episode is part of a nightly series I've created for you. A quiet corner of peace and reflection, where your heart can rest and your spirit can return home. Tonight, let's talk about the kind of change that doesn't come from effort alone, but from awareness, honesty, and the quiet decision to grow from the inside out. Real transformation doesn't begin out there. It begins here, inside you. Because the way you see yourself shapes the way you see the world. We'll begin with a truth that might feel a little uncomfortable. But to grow, you have to face it. Every change begins with you. Everyone wants a better life, but very few are willing to truly change themselves. Real change doesn't start with the world around you. It starts within you. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." He meant that most of us are being quietly guided by our own unhealed fears, beliefs and wounds, living on autopilot without even realizing it. And when we don't look within, when we don't bring awareness to those hidden parts of ourselves, life simply repeats. The same patterns, the same emotions, the same pain, and we call it fate. But in truth, what we call fate is often just the repetition of our own mind. The same choices, the same reactions, the same ways of seeing the world. Every time you find yourself facing the same kind of person, the same kind of pain, the same kind of crossroad, it isn't destiny trying to punish you. It's life whispering gently. It's time to change the way you see, not the things you see. Fate isn't something written for you. It's a map you're drawing, day by day, through your thoughts, your emotions, and your awareness. And the moment you begin to look within, to understand what truly makes you afraid, what triggers your reactions, what keeps you small, you stop repeating the same story. You begin to rewrite your fate with a new energy, with awareness, and with the quiet courage to change. When you blame someone else for your pain, you're really saying, "I can only be happy if they change." But if your happiness depends on someone else's behavior, are you truly in control of your own life? Every time we blame, we unknowingly hand over our own power. We place the key to our peace in someone else's hands, and then wonder why we keep feeling stuck, hurt, or powerless. Ask yourself, how many times have you thought, if they changed, everything would be better? And when they did, or didn't, did you truly feel free? Or did you just find yourself reliving the same feelings in a different situation? Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." What bothers you in others is often a mirror reflecting something within you. A fear, an old wound, a belief you haven't yet faced. And the moment you realize that everything begins within you, something shifts. You stop being a victim of your circumstances. You take back the authorship of your own life. That's when you open the door to inner freedom. Because real freedom isn't about how others treat you. It's about how you choose to respond. When you stop blaming, You're not being weak. You're reclaiming your power. Because only when you take responsibility for your own emotions do you finally have the power to change them. You can't always control what happens, but you can always choose how to respond. Life doesn't always move the way we want it to. There will be days when things fall apart, when the people you trust walk away, when the effort you gave your heart to doesn't lead where you hoped it would. But the deepest kind of freedom is not having everything go your way. It's the ability to choose your attitude even when life doesn't. You can choose anger, or you can choose peace. You can choose to replay the pain, or you can choose to learn from it. You can choose to close your heart, or you can choose to keep it open, even after it's been hurt. And these small choices, moment by moment, quietly shape the quality of your life. Ask yourself, the last time you lost your temper, were you protecting yourself, or just reacting out of habit? When someone hurt you, did you wait for them to change, or did you decide to find peace within yourself? When life didn't go as planned, did you fight against it, or pause to ask, what is this moment trying to teach me? No one else can live for you. No one else can feel for you. And no one else can decide for you how your story will unfold. The world around you may influence you, but only you hold the power to choose how your heart responds. And that is the quiet, steady strength of changing from the inside out. We don't really suffer because of what happens. We suffer because of the story we tell ourselves about what happens. Two people can go through the same situation, and yet, one sees it as a lesson, while the other sees it as unfair. The difference isn't in the event itself, it's in the meaning their mind gives to it. Take a moment and ask yourself, what story am I telling myself right now? Is it the story of someone who's broken, or someone who's learning to rise again? Is it the story of a victim, or of a soul that's quietly growing stronger through pain? Sometimes we're not really trapped in the past. We're trapped in the way we think about the past. If you want to change your life, start by changing the stories inside your mind. Notice the things you whisper to yourself every day. I'm not enough. Things never work out for me. People always leave. Those quiet sentences are the seeds that shape the reality you live in. When you change your beliefs, your feelings begin to change. When your feelings change, your actions follow. And slowly, gently, your whole life begins to transform. And when you begin to find peace within yourself, your voice softens. Your actions become gentler. And without forcing anyone to change, the people around you begin to feel that peace too. You change, and the world quietly changes with you. That's the silent yet powerful beauty of true growth. It doesn't happen through noise or struggle. It happens through presence, awareness, and love. Don't wait for the world to change before you become better, because every action, every thought, every small choice you make today is a seed of the change you wish to see tomorrow. Real transformation doesn't come from controlling the world. It comes from learning to lead your inner one. When you change within, everything outside begins to realign in the most gentle and natural way. From ancient Greek philosophy to modern psychology, every voice of wisdom has whispered the same truth. Change doesn't come from doing more, but from becoming more. More aware, more grounded, and more conscious of who you truly are. Because peace, growth, and freedom always begin within. And if these words have touched something in you tonight, I invite you to share this episode with someone who might need a little light, a little reminder that peace is still possible. Sometimes, one small message can become the quiet turning point in someone's story. And remember, I'm here with you, always, walking beside you, gently, as we learn to live softer, and love ourselves a little more, one moment at a time. Have you ever felt like your life was just quietly passing by, as if you were standing on the outside, watching it unfold from a distance? You wake up, go through the motions, do all the things you're supposed to do, and yet deep down, you can't help but wonder, am I truly living, or just moving through scenes someone else has written for me? Maybe you've been waiting for too long, waiting for the right timing, waiting for someone to finally understand, or waiting for a sign to begin the dreams and plans you've been holding on to in your heart. But I'm here to remind you of something. Something simple, but life-changing. Have you ever asked yourself, what would happen if you stopped waiting? What would happen if you stepped into your own story? What would happen if you chose to take one small action today, just one, that could bring you a little closer to your dream? You don't need a hero to come and save you, because you are the main character of your own life. The truth is, everyone else has their own battles to fight. They live in their own complicated worlds, carrying worries and silent struggles that you may never fully see or understand. They are often busy navigating their own emotions and responsibilities. People can walk beside you for a while, but at the end of the day, you are the one who must continue walking on your own journey of growth and becoming. No one understands your story better than you do. No one can live fully inside your inner world, where your fears, your pain, and your hopes quietly live and breathe, waiting for you to listen. Close your eyes for a moment, take a deep breath in, and slowly let it go. Now ask yourself gently, what is one small thing you can do today that could change your tomorrow for the better? When you realize that you are the storyteller, not the supporting role, you stop waiting for someone to come and save you. You begin to save yourself with understanding, with courage, and with self-compassion. Many people spend their entire lives acting in a script written by someone else, doing what's right, trying to be enough, seeking approval that never really lasts. But when you are the main character, you start asking the deeper questions. Is the story I'm living truly mine? If today were my last day, would I still want to live this way? Start by being honest with yourself about what you truly want, what you're afraid of, and what you're finally ready to change. That's when you begin to rewrite your story, not perfectly, but truthfully. When you truly become the main character of your own life, you begin to take responsibility for yourself for everything that's happening, whether it's joy, sadness, or the pain you've experienced along the way. You no longer say, "They hurt me." Instead, when someone makes you feel pain, you gently acknowledge, "I'm feeling hurt, and I'm going to learn how to take care of that part within me." Because when you start seeing your emotions as signals, not as burdens, you begin to understand that no one can make you happy or miserable unless you allow them to. And that's the moment you reclaim the power of your inner peace. You're no longer pulled by the emotions of others, but you begin to live with calm, steadiness, and true freedom. When you blame other people or circumstances, you unknowingly give them power over your emotions and the outcome of your life. But when you pause and say, "I choose how to respond to this," you start taking back control. It's a quiet transformation, a shift from being a victim to becoming a creator. You're no longer passive in your own story, but actively shaping your path forward. Responsibility doesn't weigh you down. It sets you free. When you take responsibility for your emotions, you start to listen to them, instead of fearing or avoiding them. Anger tells you that you need respect. Sadness reminds you that you've loved deeply. Anxiety reveals the places where you still don't fully trust yourself. And instead of saying, they made me feel this way. You turn inward and gently ask, which part of me needs healing right now? From there, each emotion becomes a guide, helping you understand yourself more deeply, grow softer, and mature a little more each time you're hurt. If you believe that everything bad happens because of someone else, you'll always remain in the role of the victim. But when you start asking, what can I learn from this experience? And every challenge becomes a lesson for growth. No one can change the past, but you can always change the meaning you give to what has happened. And that is the true strength of someone who takes responsibility, a person who is learning to be free and to live in harmony with themselves through understanding, acceptance, and deep self-love. When you truly become the main character of your own life, you begin to stop blaming the past for too long. Not because you've forgotten it, but because you've realized something more important, that your purpose now is to keep walking forward and write new, brighter chapters for your life. The main character doesn't try to erase the past. They simply learn to accept it as a part of their journey. Every mistake, every loss, carries a message within it. And when you can look back with compassion instead of resentment, the pain slowly transforms into strength. I have been hurt before, but I'm still here and I'm still moving forward. Many people struggle to live fully in the present because they're still haunted by the mistakes or losses of the past. But the main character doesn't need to erase what has been. They only need to accept it as a part of their story, because without it, you might never have become the wiser, stronger, and more compassionate version of yourself that you are today. Believe that everything in life happens for a reason, even if you can't see it clearly right now. Every person is exactly where they need to be, at the time the universe has gently arranged for them. Maybe this path isn't easy. Maybe you've wished to move faster. But what if this very moment is the one you need? To learn, to heal, and to grow stronger before you step into your next beautiful chapter. When you become the main character of your own life, you start to see each ordinary day through a different lens. You realize that a day doesn't have to be special to feel full of energy and meaning, as long as you know why you are living it. You don't have to change the whole world. All you need is to choose one small thing each day that makes your heart light up. A warm cup of tea in the morning, a single page in your journal, or just a few quiet minutes to breathe and come home to yourself. Because when you live with awareness and presence, you stop standing on the sidelines, watching your life go by. You begin to truly live in the movie of your own story, with all the emotions, colors, and meaning that you've created for yourself. Becoming the main character of your life doesn't mean you have to be strong all the time, or always know where you're going. Sometimes, it simply means daring to live truthfully, even when you feel weak, lost, or afraid. Because when you choose to come home to yourself, to listen, and to keep walking with your own 2 feet, life slowly begins to change a little at a time, but in a way that truly belongs to you. And if today you feel tired, or just need a place to pause for a moment, I'm right here. Heal and Grow Podcast will always be a small, quiet space where you can rest, breathe, and simply be yourself. I'm Wendy, and if you'd like to share a piece of your journey, feel free to leave me a message in the comments. I'll always be here to listen and to walk beside you on this journey of learning to love and heal yourself.
Today, I want to talk about something simple, but maybe the hardest thing to practice: believing in yourself. Have you ever looked at someone and thought, wow, they've got it all figured out, while you're still trying to find your way? You work hard, you try to stay positive, but somehow it still feels like you're always behind. And quietly, a voice inside whispers, "Maybe I'm not good enough." I've heard that voice too. Many times. That's the voice of self-doubt. And according to psychologists, it's one of the strongest barriers to self-growth. Because your brain is wired to protect you from failure, even if it means keeping you small. But here's the truth. You don't have to shine like them. You're meant to shine like you. Your light doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to impress anyone. It just needs to be real. There's a reason believing in yourself feels so hard. Our mind naturally compares, and comparison slowly steals joy. Social psychologist Leon Festinger called it social comparison theory. It means we constantly measure our worth based on people around us. So, when you scroll social media and see someone doing better, your brain reads it as, "I'm falling behind," even if it's not true. But here's something to remember. Their timeline is not yours. Their season is not yours. Every flower blooms at a different time. The sun doesn't compete with the moon. They each shine when it's their turn. Believing in yourself doesn't mean you'll never doubt again. It means you'll choose to keep going, even when the doubt is loud. It means you'll show up with shaky hands, but still say, "I'll try." Self-belief is a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows with repetition. According to research from Stanford University, people who practice self-compassion after failure are more likely to bounce back and keep improving than those who criticize themselves harshly. So next time you make a mistake, instead of saying, "I'm so stupid," try whispering, "I'm learning. I'm growing." That's not pretending. That's rewiring your brain to believe again. Confidence is not the absence of doubt. It's the decision to act despite it. You don't have to make a big change to start believing again. Just one small, honest step each day. Maybe it's speaking one English sentence out loud. Maybe it's journaling one grateful thought before bed. Maybe it's choosing rest instead of guilt. Every small act is like a seed, and belief is what waters it. In positive psychology, this is called the progress principle. It means that noticing small wins, even tiny ones, is what fuels motivation in the long run. One small act of courage a day rewrites your whole story. Each time you choose to trust yourself, even just a little bit, you begin to shift the story you tell about who you are. You stop saying, "I'm not confident," and start saying, "I'm becoming confident." And one day, you'll realize you didn't have to become someone new. You just had to stop hiding who you already were. Maybe you don't see it yet. Maybe your light feels small right now. But please, don't mistake not yet for never. The sun doesn't rush to rise. And yet, every morning it does. You are blooming too. In your own rhythm. In your own quiet strength. One day you'll look back and realize you were glowing all along. So if today feels slow, if your dreams still feel far, take a deep breath. Close your eyes and whisper, "I'm growing. I'm learning. I'm becoming." Because you are. Don't give up on yourself. Don't stop showing up. You will shine one day. Not because the world finally sees you, but because you finally see yourself. If no one told you today, I'm proud of you. For trying again, for believing when it's hard, for showing up for your dreams in quiet ways.
If you had to describe yourself in 3 words, what would you say? Maybe you'd say, "I'm an introvert. I'm not good at communication. I worry too much. I'm not smart enough to do that." Those little labels may sound harmless, but sometimes they quietly shape the way we live our entire lives. Hi, my friend. I'm Wendy, and welcome back to the Heal and Grow podcast. In today's episode, I want to share with you a fascinating concept from psychology, one that deeply influences the way we see ourselves, and that is labels. How many things people say about you are actually true? And how many of the things you believe about yourself are true? Let's take a closer look at those invisible beliefs, the labels that might be holding you back, and explore how we can gently start peeling them off so you can see yourself more clearly and live more freely. Before we begin, I want to share something personal with you. I rarely talk about myself in my episodes, but I believe that real stories like this can sometimes inspire change more powerfully than any piece of advice ever could. When I was little, everyone used to say I was a weak girl. I cried when I got scolded, cried when watching sad movies, and even cried when I saw someone else get hurt. The adults would pat my head and say, "Girls who cry this much will have a hard life later on," and I believed them. I believed that I was born to be fragile, and that my life was destined to be difficult. For years, I lived according to those labels. I avoided conflicts. I was afraid of arguments. I always felt like life was hard, and I constantly told myself that I was too weak to overcome anything. But as I grew older, I started reading more, learning more. And through that process, I realized something deeply important. It wasn't my weakness that made me suffer. It was my belief in those labels, because for so long, I had believed that I am a weak person, and that belief quietly shaped the way I lived. I was afraid to try, because I was afraid to fail. I didn't speak up because I was afraid to be hurt. I accepted less than I deserved just because I thought, someone like me could never be any different. Then one day, I came across a quote by Eckhart Tolle, and it completely changed the way I saw myself. The moment you define yourself, you limit yourself. In that moment, something inside me awakened. I realized that no one had ever forced me to live that way. It was me who believed in a label that others had placed on me, and I was the one who locked the door on my own freedom. No label can define a person forever. We are not what others once said about us. We are not even what we once believed about ourselves. We are what we are becoming. If you look around, you'll see that there are so many labels, the collective beliefs about how a person should live, should act, or should become. For example, in school or at work, people often say, only those who are good at math are smart. People who talk a lot are confident. Introverts are shy and socially awkward. And slowly, those who don't fit into these boxes begin to doubt themselves. An artist starts to believe they're not intelligent, simply because they're not good with numbers. A quiet soul starts to think they're not confident, just because they speak less than others. But the truth is, it's not like that. Everyone shines in their own way. It's just that society has long used a very narrow measuring stick. And there are many more labels, aren't there? Introverts must be quiet. Women must be gentle. Men must be strong and never cry. Good grades mean you're intelligent. Wealth means you're successful. These seemingly harmless phrases, repeated over time, become patterns that everyone tries to squeeze themselves into. And in doing so, we lose touch with the most authentic parts of who we are. Don't limit yourself. These labels are like ready-made clothes. They might fit someone else perfectly, but feel painfully tight on you. Yet we keep wearing them, because we're afraid of being different, afraid of being judged, afraid of not being accepted. But you know what? Life is not a contest to see who fits the mold best. It's a journey to understand and express your truest self. There's no single formula that works for everyone. Each person carries a different story, and what brings happiness to one may not be right for another. So instead of trying to become the perfect version that society expects, why not pause for a moment and turn inward? What truly excites you? What makes you feel alive every time you do it? What makes you think, yes, this is who I really am? And what do you wish to improve? Not because someone told you to, but because you genuinely want to grow. Let the most alive parts of you have room to breathe. Whether it's your ability to care for others, your love for creativity, or your attention to the smallest details, give them a chance to grow. Because happiness doesn't come from becoming a perfect someone. It comes from knowing who you truly are and daring to live fully, exactly as that person. Don't label yourself. Be the best version of you. Let your abilities grow freely, without limits. You weren't born to fit into anyone's mold. You weren't born to become a copy of someone else, because the world already has too many copies. But there is only one you. You were born with experiences, perspectives, and abilities that no one else can ever repeat. In the end, your value doesn't come from how perfect you are. It comes from the simple truth that you are the only person who can live your life. So don't limit yourself because of a single word someone once said. Too weak, clumsy, not good enough. Those words don't define you. Because everyone changes. The person you are today and the person you were at 8 years old are completely different. Different in how you think, how you see life, and even in who you are inside. Don't let the labels from when you were 8 years old follow you all the way into old age. Those harmless sounding phrases like, "She's such a shy girl. He's so clumsy. You can't do that." They stick with us for years. They quietly turn into beliefs, and over time, become invisible barriers. When we were little, we believed that adults were always right. But as we grow up, we forget those words were only true for the 8-year-old version of us, not for the person we've become today. Because the truth is, you've come a long way. You've faced challenges, pain, and moments of growth that your 8-year-old self could never have imagined. So why let old labels define someone who has grown, who has become stronger, wiser, and far more experienced than ever before? Pause for a moment and start peeling those labels off, gently. No rush, no pressure. Just start with one simple thought. Maybe I'm no longer the person they once said I was. Be the best version of yourself. If you once believed that you couldn't, then today, try again. Even one small step is enough to prove that every limit only exists as long as you believe in it. Don't wait for others to believe in you. Be the first one who does. Believe that you can learn, that you can change, that you can become someone new. Believe that you deserve good things, even if yesterday you didn't achieve much. Because no label can ever define who you are. Only the way you live each day can tell the true story of who you really are. Be the best version of yourself. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be like anyone else. You just need to be you, truly, fully, and freely. And maybe happiness begins the very moment you dare to believe that you can be different. You can be better. You can rewrite the story of your own life. Before we close today's episode, I want to ask you one simple question. Is there a label you've been carrying that no longer feels true to who you are? And if there is, are you ready to take it off today? To give yourself the chance to be a little more free? Thank you so much for staying with me until the end. If this episode touched you, please leave a comment or share your story. I always love reading your reflections and walking this journey with you. What do you think about discipline? Is it a form of restriction? Or is it the way we learn to become the guide of our own life? Because sometimes, true freedom isn't about doing everything you want. It's about knowing what truly deserves your energy. Hi, my friend. This is Wendy, and welcome back to the Heal and Grow podcast. A quiet space where we learn to live with more softness and love ourselves a little more each and every day. Tonight, I want to share with you a truth that sounds like a paradox, but once you truly feel it, it might just change the way you see your life forever. The more disciplined you are, the freer you become. Sounds strange, doesn't it? Because most of us grew up believing that discipline means restriction and freedom means doing whatever we want. But what if freedom doesn't come from doing everything, but from knowing how to choose? We often exhaust ourselves trying to control everything outside of us, forgetting that the only thing we truly need to master is what's happening within. And that's when discipline becomes a journey toward freedom. Let me ask you this. How many times have you said, I want to be free? Free from stress, from pressure, from expectations? And yet, how often do we find ourselves trapped? Not by others, but by our own habits, impulses, or fears. When you lack discipline, your emotions become your master. You want to be calm, but anger leads you. You want to be focused, but distractions pull you away. Discipline, in its true essence, isn't about control. It's about self-mastery. It's the bridge between intention and reality. And when you build that bridge, you no longer live at the mercy of how you feel in the moment. When you're disciplined with your body, you gain health. When you're disciplined with your money, you gain freedom. When you're disciplined with your emotions, you gain peace. A disciplined person doesn't wait for motivation. They do what matters, even when they don't feel like it, because they know, I don't do it because I want to. I do it because I've already chosen. Think about it. What does your mind feel like when you're not centered? Busy, restless, always reacting to everything around you? A mind without discipline is like an open window in a storm. Everything gets in. Noise, fear, distraction, doubt. But when you practice discipline, even in small ways, you begin to create inner stillness. Like sitting quietly each morning, writing down what you're grateful for, or pausing to breathe instead of reacting. These moments aren't about control, they're about clarity. Discipline helps you create order in your energy. You begin to see what truly matters, and what's just noise. You work when it's time to work. You rest when it's time to rest. You stop trying to do everything and start doing the right things. Deeply. And little by little, you start to notice life feels lighter, simpler, and more peaceful. And I've felt that too in my own life. There was a time in my life when I thought freedom meant doing whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. I stayed up late, worked only when I felt inspired, and avoided everything that made me uncomfortable. But over time, I realized that wasn't freedom. It was exhaustion, confusion, and a quiet kind of guilt that followed me everywhere. One day, I decided to do something small. I started waking up 15 minutes earlier, just to sit in silence and write a few lines of gratitude. Not because I wanted to be more productive, but because I wanted to feel at peace inside my own day. And slowly, from that tiny act of discipline, everything began to shift. My mornings felt calmer, my mind clearer, and my heart lighter. That's when I realized discipline isn't about control. It's about caring enough to give yourself structure so you can finally breathe in peace. Ryan Holiday once wrote, "Discipline is what keeps us from becoming slaves to our own desires." And it's true. Every time we say no to something, we're really saying yes to 1,000 better possibilities. Everyone wants freedom, but freedom isn't doing whatever you feel like. True freedom is the ability to choose what's right, even when it's hard. Discipline doesn't take joy away. It gives you the power to protect your joy from chaos. And one of the most beautiful signs of discipline is keeping promises to yourself. You don't need to announce it to the world. You just quietly do what you said you'd do, because you respect yourself. Each time you follow through, you strengthen the bridge of trust within you, and that trust becomes your deepest form of confidence. Let me ask you, how would your life feel if you truly trusted yourself to do what you say? True freedom isn't about escaping limits. It's about knowing who you are, what you want, and being committed to it. A disciplined life isn't rigid. It's intentional. It doesn't come from force. It comes from meaning, when you have a clear why. Discipline feels less like pressure and more like devotion. You don't work out because you fear aging. You do it because you want to stay healthy, to walk with your loved ones a little longer. That's love, not control. Discipline is also about designing a life that fits you, knowing when you lose focus, when you need rest, and building rhythms that support your growth, not punish it. People with discipline don't hate themselves into success. They love themselves enough not to abandon themselves. They don't demand perfection. They choose patience, one small step at a time, because they know freedom isn't found overnight. It's built quietly, through every daily choice. You know, I used to think discipline was a kind of punishment, a way of forcing myself to be better. But the deeper I went into my healing journey, the more I realized discipline is actually an act of self-love. When I eat on time and rest when I should, I'm telling my body, I care about you. When I focus on what truly matters instead of scrolling endlessly through my phone, I'm telling my mind, I respect you. And when I keep the promises I make to myself, even the smallest ones, I'm telling my heart, I trust you. Discipline, in its softest form, is just another way of saying, I love you enough to show up for you. So tonight, remember this. Discipline doesn't take away your freedom. It unlocks it. Only when you learn to lead yourself, you stop being pulled by the noise of the world. You live with direction, with peace, and with depth. Discipline isn't a chain. It's the wings that set you free. When you learn to master your thoughts, your habits, and your choices, you're not limiting your life. You're expanding it. And that, my friend, is what true freedom feels like. Quiet, intentional, and fully alive. And if you're wondering, where do I even begin? Start small. One thing, done gently, every single day. Wake up 10 minutes earlier to sit in silence and breathe. Or write down one thing you're grateful for before bed. Or simply put your phone down and spend 5 quiet minutes being truly present with yourself. You don't have to change everything. Just choose one thing and keep your word to yourself. Because every time you keep a small promise, you strengthen the belief that you can trust yourself. And from that trust, all change begins to bloom. Discipline isn't about doing more. It's about returning to what truly matters, again and again with love. Have you ever looked at someone else's life and wondered, how did they do it while I'm still stuck here? Tonight we'll begin with one of the most powerful lessons of all, how to manifest whatever you want. Have you ever looked at someone else's life and wondered again, how did they do it? Why does it seem so easy for them, while I'm still here waiting, trying, figuring things out. You see people who love their work, who are in relationships that make them glow, who seem to live the life they once only dreamed of. And then there's you, still trying, still searching for where to begin. You've worked hard, you've read the books, you've listened to the advice, but somehow there's still this invisible wall between the life you're living and the life you long for. You ask yourself, where did I go wrong? Am I not good enough? Or maybe I just haven't learned how to turn my dreams into reality? If that's where you are right now, please know you're not alone. Tonight, we're going to talk about what manifestation really means. It's not about magic or wishful thinking. It's about intention, gratitude, and faith especially. Faith in yourself. In this episode, you'll learn how to manifest anything you want step by step, from setting clear intentions to visualizing, feeling, and taking aligned action. And if you want these lessons to truly become part of you, listen to this series each night before you sleep. Let every word become a soft whisper in your mind, and every thought of hope take root in your heart. Because only when you begin to change from within can the world outside begin to shift. First, you need to be clear about what you truly want. Whatever your goal is, to speak English confidently, to lose 5 kilograms, or to finish 10 books a year, define it clearly. The clearer your intention, the closer you move toward it. Because to manifest something, you must first know what it is you're calling in. So close your eyes and ask yourself, if you weren't afraid to fail, what would you start right now? If no one judged you, who would you become in the next 3 years? If money wasn't a problem, how would you spend your days? What's something you've always wanted to do, but kept postponing because you worried what others might think? If you didn't need to please anyone, how would you really want to live? Sometimes the answer doesn't come from logic. It comes from that quiet voice inside your heart. Because manifestation doesn't begin with goals, it begins with feelings. When you connect with the emotion of what you want, you begin to tune into the frequency of it. Now, imagine the version of you who already has what you desire. How does she wake up in the morning? What does her day look like? How does she feel when she looks in the mirror? The more vividly you see her, the more real she becomes in your mind, and the faster she becomes your reality. Manifestation is not wishful thinking. It's training your brain to believe in the future you're creating, until it starts finding ways to make it happen. Neuroscientists call this the reticular activating system, or RAS. It's a natural filter in your brain that processes millions of bits of information every day and focuses only on what you believe matters. So when you repeatedly think about your dream life, your brain starts to say, "Oh, this is important." It begins to notice opportunities, ideas, and people that align with your goal. It's like when you want to buy a red car. Suddenly, you see red cars everywhere. The world hasn't changed. Your focus has. Researchers like Joe Dispenza also explain that when you imagine something deeply enough, your brain activates the same areas as if you were actually experiencing it. It can't tell the difference between imagining and living. So when you spend just a few minutes each day feeling and picturing that best version of yourself, your brain starts shifting your emotions, thoughts, and behaviors to match that version. In simple words, when you believe and feel as if it's already real, you start living in a way that makes it real. Wherever you are, begin with gratitude. The more grateful you are, the more you live in the frequency of abundance. And from that place, fear turns into trust, and lack turns into growth. Gratitude is the strongest magnet for miracles. Pause for a moment. Take a breath. Ask yourself, do you have food to eat today? Do you have clean water to drink? Do you have a bed to rest in and a roof to keep you safe? You have electricity. You have Wi-Fi. You have a phone or a laptop to listen to this podcast. All of these things have value. They were paid for with time, effort, and money. And right now, you have them. Whisper to yourself, "Thank you for what I have. Thank you that I can hear, see, and feel the world today. Thank you for my body, for my heart that keeps beating, for my lungs that keep breathing, for my legs that still carry me forward. Even if today is difficult, you are still surrounded by more than enough." Let that gratitude spread through you from your breath to your heart, to every cell in your body. Feel that warm, peaceful energy moving through you now. Because when you are truly grateful, you stop feeling empty. You start feeling loved, supported, and alive. Trust the process. Don't be afraid of challenges along the way. Sometimes those detours are guiding you exactly where you need to go. What matters most is having a clear intention and unshakable faith that everything will arrive in its own time. Life has a way of arranging things for you. You don't have to control it all. Your job is simply to stay open, to notice the small signals around you, and to act when opportunity appears. Those signals can be subtle, a chance meeting, a sudden idea, or a quiet nudge in your heart. Learn to notice them, learn to trust them, and remember, you are worthy of what you desire. The universe is always listening to those who truly believe in themselves. Real change always begins within you, not with other people, not with your circumstances, but with the way you choose to see the world. Start by shifting your thoughts. Focus on the small steps you can take today, because when your present is healthy, your future has something strong to grow from. Many people wait until life feels perfect to be happy. But happiness doesn't come after you change. Happiness is the energy that helps you change. If you can, step away from negative environments, from people who tell you that you can't. Not because you're better than them, but because your energy needs protection. Our brains are easily influenced. If you keep hearing discouraging words, you'll start doubting yourself. But the opposite is also true. When you surround yourself with inspiring people, you naturally become stronger and more confident. And please, stop comparing yourself to others. Comparison is a loop that fills your body with cortisol, a stress hormone that makes you anxious, jealous, and small. The more you compare, the more you feed fear and the story of not enough. Take a deep breath and tell yourself, "I'm on my own path." The moment you do that, you step out of the victim role and return to the creator, the one who is consciously writing their own story. Instead of envy, let yourself feel inspired. Look at those who are ahead of you and ask, "What can I learn from them?" When you shift from jealousy to learning, your energy changes. You stop being pulled down, and you begin to rise slowly but surely. And that's when true manifestation begins, when you finally become the person you once admired. At the end of it all, I just want to remind you of this. Manifestation isn't about magic. It's the art of living with faith, gratitude, and consistency. Every time you picture your dreams more clearly, every time you give thanks for even the smallest things, every time you choose trust instead of fear, you are already changing your energy. The universe doesn't reward begging. It responds to those who believe they are worthy. So if today you feel like you're not enough, remember, every seed begins in the dark. Your only task is to keep nurturing it with faith, gratitude, and small daily actions. One day, you'll look back and realize that everything you once wished for has quietly become your reality. Naturally, gently, beautifully. Today, I want to share with you a simple yet powerful principle, one that can completely change the way you see your life. What kind of seeds are you intentionally planting in your life? You might think that everything happening around you is just random, but in truth, nothing ever happens by accident. Everything you're experiencing right now, the joy, the pain, the opportunities, or the challenges, is the result of the seeds you've planted in the past. Your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. If you've planted seeds of gratitude, you'll harvest peace. If you've planted love, you'll receive love in return. And if you've planted anger or envy, life will mirror those back to you too. So today, let's explore the law of the seed, a universal principle that might seem simple, yet quietly shapes almost everything that happens in our lives. Once you understand it, you'll realize something beautiful. You can start changing your life, just by changing the seeds you plant, one small moment at a time. We often think, I am me and the world is something out there, separate from who I am. But in truth, we are never truly apart from the world around us. You're constantly interacting with the universe. Through every thought you think, every emotion you feel, and every action you take. And at the same time, the universe is responding to you, moment by moment, in ways you may not even notice. Try to imagine the universe as a vast, beautiful garden. Each of us is a gardener, and every thought, word, and action we plant becomes a seed in that garden. Whether you realize it or not, you're planting something every single day. When you plant seeds of gratitude, effort, and love, the universe quietly moves to bring you matching experiences, opportunities, kind people, and moments of unexpected luck. But when you plant fear, judgment, or negativity, similar energy will return to you as well. Not because the universe is punishing or unfair, but simply because it reflects back the same energy you send out. Just like tossing a pebble into a still pond, the ripples move outward and eventually come back to you. Your thoughts and actions work the same way. They create waves of energy that travel through your life and return in ways you might never expect. Every seed follows its own rhythm. It takes time, care, and trust before it becomes something beautiful. The same is true for us. Let's explore the 4 laws of the seed and see how these quiet principles can guide the way we live and grow. Law 1. You reap only what you sow. Nothing comes from nothing. If you don't plant, you won't harvest. It's not because you're incapable. It's simply because you haven't started sowing yet. Everything begins with one small action, one simple thought, one tiny choice, repeated over and over again. Every beautiful change in life starts with a seed that was planted once and cared for patiently, day by day. Law 2. Everything begins with a small seed. Every mighty tree that gives shade once started as a tiny seed quietly resting in the soil. It didn't grow in a day, but it grew a little more every single day. And you're the same. A small shift, like reading a page of a book, drinking one extra glass of water, or choosing to speak more gently than yesterday, is already a seed being planted. As John C. Maxwell once said, "You'll never change your life until you change something you do daily." The small actions you repeat every day are the quiet magic that shape the life you long for. Law 3. Life is a season that never stops. Farmers know this truth well. After planting their seeds, they must wait. For weeks, they might see nothing but bare soil. Yet they still water it, still care for it, because they trust that the sprout will come. Life works the same way. There are times when you work so hard and see no visible results. But that doesn't mean nothing is happening. It just means your seeds are growing silently underground. And one day, when you look back, you'll realize how far you've come. Because life itself is a never-ending season. Today you sow, tomorrow you harvest, and then you begin again, planting for another season to come. Law 4. Belief is the seed of reality. Your beliefs are the most powerful seeds you can ever plant. Because you will always act in alignment with what you believe. If you believe I'm not good enough, you'll live your life as if that were true. But if you believe I can change, you'll start taking steps. And soon enough, you'll prove that belief right. You know, life moves in a kind of perfect circle. What you believe shapes the way you see things. The way you see things influences how you act. Your actions create results. And those results, they always come back to strengthen the very belief you started with. That's why it all begins inside, with the belief you choose to plant today. And the very first seed in that circle is the belief you choose to plant today. Now take a moment to pause and ask yourself, what am I planting every day? Are the beliefs I'm nurturing helping me grow or holding me back? Every seed you plant within yourself eventually becomes the scenery of your outer world. If you want to see love, plant kindness. If you want to feel peace, plant gratitude. And if you want to build faith, start by planting it gently in your own mind today. No seed is ever too small. A single kind thought, a gentle action, a simple thank you. Each one has the power to change not only your day, but also the direction of your entire life. Because you are the gardener of your own life. So sow what you truly want to reap, and when you stay patient long enough, you'll start to see your garden bloom, quietly, beautifully, in its own time. Thank you for listening, and for spending this moment of reflection with me today. Remember, every small seed you plant today is already creating the life you'll live tomorrow. If this episode resonated with you, don't forget to follow Heal and Grow podcast for more stories and reflections like this. Wishing you a peaceful evening, and may every positive seed you plant today blossom into something beautiful in your future.